What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about why martial arts builds character. So I have some experience training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been training for about 6 months now. And before that, I had a little bit of a wrestling background as well. And some things I've observed in my own ego structure and even just like patterns with others, a takeaway that you get from the atmosphere is some character development. And like I said, as far as training in an actual club goes, I've only trained jiu-jitsu, but I'd imagine it's pretty similar with a lot of other martial arts as well, as long as the gym is a good environment. So here's the character traits that I've noticed get developed in individuals who train martial arts being on the mats. Respect, humility, confidence, and groundedness. So firstly, respect. When you're training a martial art, especially martial arts that have any kind of live training as a big part of the training itself, such as, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. I'm thinking especially with the martial arts that have live training involved, because you are making yourself available as a resource and another is making themselves available as a resource to you. You guys are training partners. Without each other, you're not going to get better. And that goes for everybody in the gym that you're training with. Without one another, you can't get better. And to be able to train with each other, it requires a certain level of courage and respect amongst. It requires a certain level of courage, and I think that really gets respected. And you grow to become really appreciative of the fact that others are there to train with you. And, it's not just a personal situation where I've grown to become grateful for, my training partners, but I can really observe it with everybody in the room for the most part, that people are very grateful, people are very thankful and respectful of one another. Before, during, and after, they're trying to strangle each other, which is, kind of ironic, but it also makes sense as to why that element of respect comes into play. The next thing is humility. Now, this is a character trait that's very important, right? Nobody likes a cocky bastard. It's one thing to be confident in yourself, but it's another thing to just lack any type of humility. So this is a very good character trait to develop. And I think martial arts does a very good job of developing humility, because anybody who goes in to train in any martial art, and at one point on their journey, it was their first day walking into the gym. They pretty well knew nothing about the martial art. Maybe they've seen some stuff or read some stuff, but they've never actually practiced it. And so they're not going to be very talented at it. And in order to be masterful at anything, you have to be willing to be a fool first. You have to be willing to be brand new, a complete rookie. And that first day that you walk into a gym, you're going to be humbled right away, especially if there's any kind of sparring involved in like that first week or so that you start training. I know for myself especially, it was very humbling. Like I said, I had a bit of a wrestling background. So there's something called a double leg takedown where you go in for the shot and you go for the legs. And I went for a double leg takedown knowing, having that in my arsenal because of wrestling. And because it was jiu-jitsu, there's submissions allowed now. Right as I shot that double leg, I felt pretty confident and I got choked out in like 5 seconds. He wrapped my neck with his arms and he strangled me and I had to tap out. And that was very humbling. It's like, oh, okay, I can't do that. I have to learn how to adapt my wrestling into a place where submissions are allowed. Overall, just a very humbling experience, and it's still like that. I've been training for 6 months now, and every now and then I'll train with like a black belt or a brown belt. And it's so funny because I'm training like 5-6 times a week and I'm making a lot of progress, and maybe I'm beginning to get better against some training partners that used to get the better of me. But then I'll go against somebody who's been training for like 5-6 years, and it's literally night and day. It's like they're not even trying, and it's just very humbling to see that level of mastery in the most visceral way. Like, it's not just like I go play the piano and then somebody else goes to plays the piano and I'm like, oh, okay, I still have a long way to go. I thought I was good, but they're so much better than me. It's different because it involves you being like physically dominated with ease. So it's a very humbling experience, and it really gets you to put your ego in check, right? Especially if you're going to continue with any kind of training. If your ego's not in check, if somebody has me in an arm bar and I'm too much of a meathead and I'm stupid and I'm not going to tap out, because I think, I'm big and strong and, I can escape and get the better of them. I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get my arm snapped if I don't ask them, or if I don't yield and ask for mercy. And that's the other element that really introduces a lot of humility to people, is that by tapping out, you're literally asking somebody to stop and saying, you win. And with other sports, the other team can score a goal against you in soccer or hockey, or the other team can score a touchdown in football, but there's no aspect of you yielding in those sports. Like, you're going to try to fight them off right until the ball crosses the line or the puck goes in the net, or you get the point. But with jiu-jitsu, and this is, I guess, particularly applies to jiu-jitsu more than other martial arts, there's an aspect of yielding. Like, you have to tap out, and you have to consciously make that choice and say, okay, I've been beat, and I have to accept that. Otherwise, I'm going to get hurt, and this is just part of the learning process. I'm going to get beat over and over and over and over and over again, and that's like to be expected. That's a good thing. Like, you're going to be learning from that. So that's how it really develops your character in terms of introducing humility to you. The next thing, confidence. For me, this wasn't as big because I didn't really have problems with my confidence before I started training. But I could imagine for individuals who have, some self-esteem issues, and maybe they're not so confident, being able to physically handle themselves is going to help make them a lot more confident. There's a story that a black belt online, I forget his name, but I was watching a video once, and he was talking about how he used to get picked on, and he used to diffuse conflict with humor. And, that always worked out for him. But he would feel like shit about himself. Like, people would kind of pick on him, and he would use, like, self-deprecating humor to kind of get out of any situation where he might be physically harmed. And he said it was effective, it worked, but that, like, psychologically damaged him a little bit. He, obviously that does things to your confidence, and he would kind of feel like shit about himself, that's how he had to handle the situation. Whereas after he started training a whole bunch, and he did martial arts for a few years, he still used that same tactic. It's not as if now when he gets picked on, he just kicks the shit out of the person. No, he still uses that, same like self-deprecating humor is what he called it, to get out of those situations and diffuse conflict. But he wouldn't feel like crap about himself anymore, because he knew even if conflict rose, he would be able to handle himself. And he wouldn't go on feeling like shit about the fact that he had to diffuse the situation with humor. Because the fact of the matter is, he didn't. He chose to diffuse the situation with humor because he was a compassionate individual. He could have chose violence. Might have went to jail, but he could choose violence in those instances. He chooses not to. He still uses the same, defense mechanism, but he doesn't feel bad about it because his confidence is there. And martial arts really does build your confidence. And it makes complete sense why. You're a physically more capable individual, and you have more experience pushing yourself to limits. That's so big, especially in a physical sense. That's why, like, lifting weights can really make you a more confident person too, because you're pushing those limits that you didn't think you could push before. In the same way, martial arts empowers you to step out of your comfort zone and do things that you might kind of have a little bit of doubts that you can do. And over time, you're going to not doubt yourself as much, because you're going to realize, even though things are hard, I can do hard things and I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. So that's how martial arts builds your confidence. And lastly, this kind of ties into confidence, but being grounded and being present. That's a really important thing for individuals in life, just to go through life in a peaceful way, is being able to be grounded. And what I mean by that is essentially being present and feeling mentally and emotionally stable. And I really just get that energy off of people in the gym. When I walk into the gym, especially as the belt colors go up in the ranks, I can kind of get this energy off of people that they're just really grounded. They give off a very present and stable energy. And it's really nice to see. It's a really nice environment to be in. Grounded people are always good to be around, and it's good to aspire to be grounded yourself. And I think that's a way that martial arts really develops character that a lot of times kind of goes overlooked. It develops this sense of groundedness, and I think that goes hand in hand with confidence, because confidence kind of eradicates some anxiousness that you might have, and that's going to contribute to you being able to be more grounded and more at peace in your regular day-to-day life. So that is 4 characteristics that martial arts develops in you. There's much more, but those are the ways that martial arts, some of the big ways in my opinion, that martial arts develops your character. And maybe after hearing this, you're going to be inspired to go train some martial arts too. So throw your hat into the ring and go sign up at a gym near you and train some martial arts. I highly recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing it for like 6 months now, and I've been training like 5 or 6 days a week sometimes. I absolutely love it. This is definitely going to be a passion of mine for the rest of my life. And who knows, as we go on, I think I'm going to start integrating it more into my channel, especially over the next few years. So let me know if you guys are looking forward to that, if that's something you want to see or maybe not. But I kind of like the idea of integrating like personal development and spirituality with martial arts going forward. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like that and like this. And if you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this.